சம்மான் துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்
பேனர், ஆன்பில்ஸ், ரப்பர் ஸ்டாம்ப்ஸ், கிராஃபிக் டிசைனிங் அண்ட் பிரிண்டிங், மக் பிரிண்டிங், டிஜிட்டல் பிரிண்டிங் என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக அம்பாறை வீதி சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0777635922. உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக். சுதேசி உற்பத்திகளின் அதிகாரமளிக்கப்பட்ட பிராந்திய முகவர் நிறுவனம் அச்சீவர். உரிமையாளர் RM ரைஹான். இர்ஷாத் காதர் நற்பணிமன்றம் சம்மாந்துறை. மொஃபோ நென்சலர் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் காலேஜ், மொஃபோ ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் கிளப், 2015 O-Level Batch Foundation சம்மாந்துறை. ஃபியூச்சர் சம்மாந்துறை. ரிலையன்ஸ் பிரிண்டிங் அண்ட் அட்வர்டைசிங், ருசான் ஸ்டுடியோ சம்மாந்துறை.
Good morning and Assalamu alaikum students around the globe who are watching this live session and lesson. Today we are going to talk about the grade 11 waves and their application, grade 11 unit 4. Before I want to start that one, it's me Ziad, and teacher of biology and teacher of science, English medium and Tamil medium. In this lesson, wave and their application, grade 11 unit 4, there are 4 main chapters: mechanical waves, electromagnetic wave, sound, and finally musical instruments. Today we're going to talk about this mechanical wave. So mechanical wave means is a type of wave. So before I want to start this mechanical wave, we're going to talk about what is wave. Wave in Tamil, we call this one alaygal. So a disturbance in a medium or space is called wave. When you disturbs any medium, it vibrates. Because of that vibration, waves are formed. When waves are formed, waves transmit energy. So because of that, a disturbance in a medium or space, we can say for this disturbance another term, vibration. Another thing, when disturbance occurs, what happens? Vibrations are formed. Another term for disturbance is what? Vibration. Because of vibrations, waves are formed. So what you have to know before you want to study about these waves, we look at what is wave. And for example, for this wave, sound is a type of wave, and water wave, these are the real simple example for waves. So let's look about waves now. There are 2 types of waves. One is mechanical waves and electromagnetic wave. And this mechanical wave can be divided into 2 parts. One is longitudinal waves and second one transverse waves. For these longitudinal waves, there is an example sound wave, and transverse wave for this example water wave. Again another one, electromagnetic wave. For this electromagnetic wave, these are the example: light, microwaves, infrared waves, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and radio waves. So we'll be talking about in this chapter, in this lesson, what is mechanical wave and their physical properties. Let's look what is mechanical wave. Wave which need a material or medium for its propagation is called mechanical wave. For example, Sound is a type of mechanical wave. When you are talking, sound distribute or transmit from one place to another place. Without medium, it cannot travel. So, the wave which is needed for its propagation, what is propagation? Moving. So, propagation is called mechanical wave. These types of waves cannot be travelled without medium. In other words, we can say this: a type of wave, mechanical wave, travels with medium. It cannot travel without medium. Depending on the vibration of the movement of particles of medium and the propagation of waves can be classified, or mechanical wave can be classified into two, mainly transverse waves and longitudinal waves. So simply, mechanical wave means பொறிமுறை அலைகள். அந்த பொறிமுறை அலைகள் இருவகைப்படும். பிரதானமாக transverse waves, அதாவது குற்றலைகள், longitudinal waves, நெடுக்கலைகள் சொல்லப்படும். Another term we are going to discuss about later, but there is a definition here: electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves means in Tamil மின்காந்த அலைகள். So the wave which can travels without medium. For example, light is a type of electromagnetic wave. So light can travel without medium even, but mechanical waves, to travel that one, medium is very much needed. Without medium, mechanical wave cannot travel, but electromagnetic wave does not need medium to its propagation. It can travel space or vacuum or with medium too. You can't say like this one: electromagnetic wave can only travels without medium. Even with medium also, this electromagnetic wave can travel. Now we're going to talk about this one. We looked at there are two types of mechanical waves: transverse waves and longitudinal waves. So let's look what is transverse waves. The wave which propagate perpendicular to the motion of particle of medium is called transverse wave. Transverse wave means when wave moves this way and particles of that medium move perpendicular to that movement. For example, if you look at this one, wave move this side and the particles are vibrating or disturbs perpendicular. What is perpendicular means? செங்குத்தாக அலை இந்த பக்கம் செல்லும்போது ஊடக துணிக்கைகள் செங்குத்தாக அதிரும். அப்படி அதிர்கின்ற அலைகள் தான் குறுக்கலைகள் அல்லது குற்றலைகள் எனப்படும். அதாவது transverse waves. So wave move this way, particles moves perpendicular to that way, and we can call that transverse wave. Let's look how these transverse waves propagate. See this one, these waves is moving this way, and see this particle moving like this. You could think like these particles move this side, but not like that. The wave particles move this way and wave move this way, and a kind of wave or type of wave that is called transverse wave. These are and it travels in solid and liquid. Transverse wave travels in solid and liquid commonly. So you may think this one, it cannot travel in a gas or this air, but mainly it travels in solid and liquid. These are the example for transverse waves. Shallow water waves, water travels along the water surface, not underneath water. Along the water surface, if you put a small stone into the water, then there is a vibration. There is a vibration. These particles move up and downwards. Because of that, waves is forming. And second example, wave traveling through a rope. Rope means kite. When you vibrate a small rope, what happens? These waves are forming. Another example, surface waves form due to the earthquake. We know that one earthquake, because of that vibration, earthquake occurs, and that vibration causing more problem, but because of that earthquake, vibration occurs, and that vibration causing what? Actually wave. And why this occurs? Mainly to transmit energy. Altogether, in the transverse waves or longitudinal wave, whatever, the waves traveling. Why? Because to transmit energy. When transverse wave propagate means moves, crashed and troughs are formed. We know that when transverse wave moves, crashed, in Tamil we call this one mudi, and troughs, in Tamil we call this one thali. These 2 points are forming. Let's look what is crashed. Point which particle traveled maximum distance in upward direction is called crashed. Which means when this wave move, these particles move upwards and downwards. The maximum height or the maximum distance a particle travel point, that is called crashed, and it should be where? Upwards, not a downwards. And the next point is trough. Trough means thali, and trough means what? The point which particle traveled maximum distance in downwards, that is upwards. Crushed is upwards and trough is downwards. See this point, this is the maximum point of this wave particle travels. Let's look another wave. We call that one longitudinal wave, means நட்டாங்கு அலைகள் அல்லது நெடுக்கலைகள். Wave which propagate parallel to the vibration. Parallel means when waves move this way and the particles move like this one, and when these particles move like parallel, when waves move this way and particles move parallel to the waves, and that is called longitudinal waves. Means wave which propagate parallel to the vibration or movement of particle is called longitudinal waves. See this diagram, the wave direction this side and the particles direction of particle motion. See these particles moving like this, and this wave moving this way and particle moving this way. See, this is parallel to this wave motion. It could be either this way or that way, opposite way. Both waves, this particle moving, we're talking about that one, why it is moving that one, but this movement of this wave, particles are vibrating parallel to the wave movement, and that is called longitudinal waves. Let's look how these waves are, particles are moving. See this one, these particles are moving like this one. If wave move this way and the particles move parallel to the wave direction. And if you see this, another example for slingy, and if you look at this slingy is when it vibrates, what happens? Wave moving this way and these particles again vibrate. So vibrates here. See this one. This is a transverse wave. And this is longitudinal waves and particles moving this side. So summarizedly I can say that the wave particles moving perpendicular to the propagation of wave, that is transverse wave, and if the particle travels or these move parallel to the wave's movement, and that is called what? Longitudinal wave. And for this longitudinal wave there is an example, that is sound wave. We talk and that is sound, and that sound is moving to the air because of that vibration of air particle. I have to say one thing, people are confusing about this. What is air? What is gas? What is breeze? Gas is a type of a particle which is in air. Air is a type of mixture, and when air move, that is breeze, and when it move faster, and we can call that cyclone. People are confusing that gas and air and breeze and cyclone, that is different. Four terms are different. You have to look at that one. Longitudinal waves travels in solid, liquid, and even a gas also, right? And in longitudinal waves, compression and rarefaction are formed. We looked at in transverse wave, crust and troughs are formed in transverse waves, but here in longitudinal waves, compression means in Tamil nirikkalgal and rarefaction means aimayakalgal and uruvaகின்றது. See this one, there is a speaker. Speaker forms what? Sound. When sound forms, this sound moving, and as we study, sound is what type of wave? Longitudinal waves. So when these sound waves moving, here rarefaction means aimayakal and compression means nirikkalgal. These particles are rarefaction, then compression, rarefaction, compression, then rarefaction. A kind of movement of particles showing, and that kind of wave is called what? Longitudinal waves. And what is compression? It is a region of space where particles have come very close each other when wave propagates. See this one, compression, particles are comes very closer, and that is called compression. In Tamil we call this nirikkalgal. Another one, rarefaction. In Tamil aidakal alladu aimayakal pradesam. A dislodge of particle of the medium when wave propagate. Dislodge means moving backwards, and this is rarefaction. Let's look differences between transverse waves and longitudinal waves. Means குறுக்கலைகளுக்கும் நெட்டாங்கலைகளுக்கும் இடையிலான வேறுபாடு என்ன? Transverse waves, the particles move perpendicular to the direction of waves travels, and that is called transverse wave. And longitudinal waves, the particle move parallel to the direction of wave, that is called longitudinal wave. A second one, wave propagates occurring crust and trough. In transverse wave, crust and troughs occurs. In longitudinal waves, compression and rarefaction occurs. You must know this one because there is a page that is in your book, and usually this question comes with what are the difference between transverse and longitudinal waves. People should answer these three mainly. Propagates along solid liquid surface or through ropes or wires. This is common, we know that. And propagates through solid, liquid, or even what? Gas. Here solid, liquid, but here solid, liquid, and also gas, or we can say air. If you look at this another term, not here, there are so many complicated transverse and longitudinal waves but here only simple wave will be considered. To understand this concept, we'll be looking at that. To study these wave propagates and the transverse wave and longitudinal wave, in this lesson for O-level syllabus, we will be talking about only simple wave. This is simple wave and this is complicated wave.
சம்மாந்துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்
banner and base, rubber stamps, graphic designing and printing, mug printing, digital printing என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக அம்பாறை வீதி சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0772635922. உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக். சுதேசி உற்பத்திகளின் அதிகாரமளிக்கப்பட்ட பிராந்திய முகவர் நிறுவனம் அச்சீவர். உரிமையாளர் RM ரைஹான். இர்ஷாத் காதர் நற்பணி மன்றம் சம்மாந்துறை. மொஃபோ நென்சலர் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் காலேஜ், மொஃபோ ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் கிளப், 2015 O-level batch ஃபவுண்டேஷன் சம்மாந்துறை. ஃபியூச்சர் சம்மாந்துறை. ரிலையன்ஸ் பிரிண்டிங் அண்ட் அட்வர்டைசிங், ருசான் ஸ்டுடியோ சம்மாந்துறை.
Okay, before the interval we looked at what is mechanical wave and what are the types of mechanical wave and how these mechanical waves are propagate and what are the main points in mechanical wave, which means transverse wave and longitudinal wave. And now we are going to discuss about physical quantities associated with wave motion. For this reason only, I talk about this complicated wave and simple wave. In ordinary level syllabus, this complicated wave cannot be studied or cannot be taught or taught. We can say, but in simple wave, we can use this normal wave, and this wave, based on this wave only, we should teach and the question will come normally. But this is complicated wave. Let's look physical quantities associated with wave motion. First physical quantities of this wave motion is amplitude. Amplitude means in Tamil veecham. So when wave propagate, there could be so many physical properties can forms. So this is amplitude. Amplitude means veecham. So the definition of this amplitude, the maximum displacement from the central point of a particle of the medium in the wave motion is called amplitude. See, there is a wave I have taken. This wave is moving this way, and when it moves, there are so much of particles can move upwards and downwards. The maximum distance of a particle moving, and this distance is called amplitude. See this, if you can see this picture, you can understand more. Here is a displacement in y-axis and here time. When wave move this way, and here these are the points. See, this is small distance and movement of this particle, and this is highest movement of this particle. The maximum displacement height of that wave, and that is called amplitude. Based on this amplitude, the wave's energy can be determined. We will be talking about that, the sound wave, in sound wave. So the maximum displacement, you should underline that, the maximum. This is normal displacement. This is the point, is highest displacement. So when you look at this highest displacement amount or value, and that is amplitude. In Tamil we call that veecham. The second term, we're going to talk about this wavelength. Normally in this can be called as, the symbol of this one is lambda. The term or the definition for wavelength is the distance between two consecutive points, underline that, two consecutive points, particles in the same position and the same moving direction. This is very important. No, not all the people are considering this one. When wave move this way, and you can say that one, the two consecutive point, when distance between two consecutive point, that is okay, you can easily understand. But in the same direction, when wave move this way and when it move this way, you can't say like that, that is wavelength. This wave should move same direction. So two consecutive point and same moving direction, and the distance between two consecutive particles in the same position and same moving direction is called what? Wavelength. If you look at one wave here, and I have shown this one here, this is one point and here another point. This point and this point are same point, and this point and this point are same point, and this point and this point are same point. But here I took this same point and this same point, and you can say this is wavelength. When wave moving and the same consecutive point, you can't take this point and this point, that is wrong. Consecutive point like this one, either polar pulli inga edirukko adathaan paakonum. So you must see that one, same consecutive point. If you look at another wave here, you can understand more. This is wavelength, and this point are same point, and here this point and this point are same point, and here this point and this point are same point. All these are wavelength, and this point also wavelength. So you can't say like this one, this point and this point, that is wrong. That is only wrong. If you think is that is only a wavelength, and that is wrong. And if you take this one, this is wavelength, and this also, this also, this is also. You must know this one, because lots of students are making mistakes this only, because they only think this point and this point are wavelength, and this point and this point are wavelength. That is wrong. Same consecutive point, and this point and this point are same consecutive point, and this point and this point are same consecutive point. So the distance between two consecutive particles in the same position and same moving direction, very important. This one is called wavelength. If you don't put this one, you will get wrong. And wavelength, a transverse wave. If you look at this wavelength, okay, no problem. But the wavelength can be defined according to the wave type. There are two types of transverse wave and longitudinal wave. In wavelength, in a transverse wave, how can you define? Let's look. Wavelength equals to the distance between two consecutive trough and crest. We know transverse wave forms crest and trough. Because of that, we can define this wavelength equals to the distance between two consecutive trough. This is one trough, another trough. This is consecutive trough, and here you can see two consecutive. This is crest, and this is trough, and this is two consecutive crest, and this is two consecutive trough. And you can't say this point and this point are wavelength. So what I am saying, this one, according to the transverse wave, we can define wavelength between distance between troughs and crest. See this one, the red color is crest and trough is yellow color. Another term for this wavelength, we can use this one for longitudinal waves. As we know, longitudinal waves forms compression and diffraction. So because of that compression and diffraction, we can define wavelength equals to the distance between two consecutive compression or refraction. See, there is a wave in which we form in slingy, and this point is compression, and this point is compression, and the distance between these two are wavelength, and here refraction, and the distance between two refraction, that is called wavelength. So you can easily define wavelength according to the commonly, and also you can define what is wavelength according to the type of wave, that is transverse wave and longitudinal waves. Let's look third main physical quantities associated with wave, that is wave period, or period we can say. அலைவு காலம் அப்படினு சொல்லப்படும். So you can use this one, the symbol for this period is, period means we can say time. So instead of for that one, you can use t. The time taken by a particle to complete an oscillation, the new word oscillation means எளிமிசை இயக்கம், is called period. Or the time taken by wave to travel a distance equals to the wavelength is called wave period. Let's look one wave. There is a wave is moving here, and if you take this time, this is a time axis and this is displacement. This wave is moving this side, and if you take this wave moving this side, and the time taken, see this, the time taken by wave to travel distance equals to the wavelength. Means, for example, if you want to move 10 meter and if you want a time 10 second, and that is wavelength. So like that, wavelengths, the distance of wavelength to be traveled with a time, and that is period. You can easily understand. You will be talking about, or you will discuss this period or this much in A level more, right? The fourth one is what? Frequency. Frequency means அதிர்வெண் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா what is? The number of oscillation. I have to say one thing here. What is oscillation? If you look at this, if you take this a pendulum,
சம்மாந்துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங், வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்,
பேனர், ஆன்பேஸ், ரப்பர் ஸ்டாம்ப்ஸ், கிராஃபிக் டிசைனிங் அண்ட் பிரிண்டிங், மக் பிரிண்டிங், டிஜிட்டல் பிரிண்டிங் என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங், அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக, அம்பாறை வீதி, சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0772635922. உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக். சுதேசி உற்பத்திகளின் அதிகாரமளிக்கப்பட்ட பிராந்திய முகவர் நிறுவனம் அச்சீவர். உரிமையாளர் RM ரைஹான்.
Okay, if you look at this pendulum, or if you look at a movement of a vibration of particle, this particle is moving that way and goes down and goes down and goes up. So what is oscillation means? The full vibration of one particle is called oscillation or one vibration. For example, if you take one particle here, this is a center point. If it's moved one this way and this is quarter oscillation, then it comes to this point, another quarter, then half oscillation, and it comes to again this side, and that is 3/4 oscillation, then comes to center point. Now we can say this is one oscillation or one vibration or one movement of particle when wave travels. So from that we can talk about what is frequency, the number of oscillation or vibration carried out by a particle In a unit time, this is very important. Unit time means 1 second. People will confuse this. What is unit time? For example, what is speed? Speed means a distance travels in a unit time. What is velocity? A distance, a displacement traveled in a unit time. What is acceleration? The change of velocity in a unit time. So means what is density? A mass of unit volume. So unit means 1. It's always 1. So if you take this frequency equation, the number of oscillation over time means, or for example, in 10 seconds 10 oscillation, 10 செகண்டுக்கு 10 அதிர்வுன்னு சொன்னா ஒரு செகண்டுக்கு எத்தனை அதிர்வு? For 1 second how much oscillation or vibration, and that is called frequency. If you take this frequency equation, frequency is equals to number of oscillation n over t, which means frequency equal 1 over wave period, and this is also another equation. You must know this equation. Frequency is equal n over t, number of oscillation or vibration over time, and frequency is equal 1 over wave period, which means 1 over wave period time. And if you look at this one, f is equal 1 over t and 1 over, what is the unit of t? T means time period or period, that is second, and this second have one here, and if it go upwards and second minus 1, and if it's second minus 1, 1 second minus 1 is equal 1 hertz. The standard normal unit of frequency is second minus 1, but standard unit, SI unit of frequency is hertz, and that symbol is capital H and simple Z. See, let's look a small example for that frequency. The number of oscillation performed is 10 in 5 seconds. So the number of oscillation performed in a second, that is frequency. In a second means unit time. So unit time, how much of oscillation? Simply எங்கட பாஷையில சொல்ல போனா 5 செகண்டுக்கு 10 vibration, 1 செகண்டுக்கு எத்தனை vibration? That is called frequency. So frequency is equal 10 over 5 to, you can't put this second minus 1, that is not standard unit, hertz. So capital H and simple Z. Let's look the final topic of this physical properties associated with wave speed. Wave speed means alayin kadi, like frequency, like amplitude, like wave period. Wave also have what? Speed. As we know, what is speed normally in straight direction? The distance travels in a unit time is called speed. Like that, here distance which wave traveled in a unit time, you can add this wave term, that's all. The distance which wave traveled in a unit time is called wave speed. Look at this one. The standard wave, the wave traveled, and the term is wavelength. The wave speed is equal distance over time. The wave period speed is equal wave, instead of this distance we have put this wavelength, instead of time we have put this period. And if you take another equation we looked at earlier, frequency is equal 1 over oscillation time. So wave speed is equal, if you look at this one, 1 over oscillation period, 1 over t into wavelength. For 1 over t we can put f, and for wavelength that is lambda. So wave speed is equal, v is equal f lambda. This is a famous equation, and you must know this one. Lots of question coming according to this equation. V is equal F lambda.
சம்மாந்துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்
banner and bills, rubber stamps, graphic designing and printing, mug printing, digital printing என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக அம்பாறை வீதி சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0772635922 உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக். சுதேசி உற்பத்திகளின் அதிகாரமளிக்கப்பட்ட பிராந்திய முகவர் நிறுவனம் அச்சீவர். உரிமையாளர் RM ரைஹான்.
எனக்கு தெரியும் தமிழ்லையும் யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன். மாத்திரண்டா அது சரி.
நிறைய பெண்ணை செலக்ட் பண்ணி போட்டு சொல்லுங்க. அது
இர்ஷாத் காதர் நற்பணி மன்றம் சம்மாந்துறை. மொஃபோ நென்சிலர் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் காலேஜ், மொஃபோ ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் கிளப், 2015 ஓ-லெவல் பேட்ச் ஃபவுண்டேஷன் சம்மாந்துறை. ஃபியூச்சர் சம்மாந்துறை. ரிலையன்ஸ் பிரிண்டிங் அண்ட் அட்வர்டைசிங், ருசான் ஸ்டுடியோ சம்மாந்துறை.
Okay, up to now we looked at the theory about mechanical waves and wave associated physical quantities associated with wave. Now let's look some question related to this theory. So question number 1, we will be talking about this question according to the different types I have marked as this is type 1 question, type 2, type 3, like that we'll be talking about. So the first question is, frequency of a transverse wave is 50 hertz. Frequency means F is equal what? 50 hertz, and find the wave period. Simple question. As I said earlier, you must know main equation. F is equal 1 over T. This equation should use in the equation that நாங்க யூஸ் பண்ணோம். The frequency of transverse wave, ஒரு வேவினுடைய அதிர்வெண் 50 ஹெர்ட்ஸ் இருந்தா அதனுடைய வேவ் பீரியட் அலைவு காலம் என்னங்கிறதான் கேள்வி. So F is given and T is asked. When you do this kind of physics question, you have to know what is given and what is asked. This concept must be used. என்ன தந்திரிகி எதை நாங்கள் கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். தர்றதையெல்லாம் கொப்பிலையோ இல்லாட்டி எங்கேயோ எழுதி வச்சிங்கன்னு சொன்னால் then you can easily understand the concept and the question also. So here F is given, T is asked. Simple equation is what? F is equal 1 over T. So F is given, T is asked, so T is equal 1 over F. So if you look at this 1 over, what is F? 50, and 1 over 50, sometime you will confuse to divide this one. Simply you multiply here 2 and 2 here, then you can take 2 over 100, and this is 0.02 hertz, and you can't use second minus 1 because this is standard unit. See this one.
சம்மாந்துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்
banner and base rubber stamps graphic designing and printing mug printing digital printing என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங் அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக அம்பாறை வீதி சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0772635922 உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக்.
Okay, there was a mistake in SI unit of this wave period in this question, which was asked wave period. So F is equal F is equal 1 over T, and T is as T is equal 1 over F, then 1 over 50, and T is as, so 0.02, not hertz, what? The standard unit of wave period is what? Second. So right. The second question is type 2 question. The particle vibrate 200 times. So as I said earlier, what is vibration? If you take one particle here, this vibrate here, then comes center point, then vibrates here, then it comes to center point, and this is one vibration. So if you take this vibration this side, this vibration occurs here, then comes back, then come to center point. This is one vibration. The question is asked, the particle vibrate 200 times like this. This happens 200 times in how much second? 20 seconds. Find the frequency of that particles. Simply we can use this, find the frequency. Frequency means other one. We studied about F is equal, frequency is equal number of oscillation over time. So this is what equation you must use. So F is equal number of times oscillation 200, and the time taken is 20 seconds. So see, this is number, it does not have unit, and this is 20 seconds. And if you divide 200 over 20, that is 10 10, and this second have power 1. And if it goes that side, and you can use second minus 1, but the final answer should be given. The question is asked frequency, so you have to give this like what? 10 hertz. Okay, the third question. A wave's frequency is 25 hertz and its wavelength is 0.5 meter. Find the velocity. We studied, you must know this equation, what? F is equal F is equal 1 over T. You have to know this one. F is equal N over T. You must know this one. From these two, we took one equation which is called V is equal F lambda. This equation will follow until you finish A level. So a wave's frequency is 25 Hertz and its wavelength is given in meter. That is very important. Find the velocity of or speed of this wave. So what is given? F is given, that is 25 Hertz, and wavelength is given, lambda is given, that is 0.5 meter. If you want to find the speed, what is the standard unit of speed or velocity? That is ms minus 1. So lambda should be in what? Meter. So it is given. Very simple. What is asked? Velocity or speed. V is equal, F is 25 into, you don't need to put this here unit. So 25 into lambda is 0.5. So 0.5. Then 25 into half, 12.5, and this is given ms minus 1. So you will think about this and how will ms minus 1, you will confuse sometime. See this one, F lambda. What is the normal unit of F is second minus 1. So here second minus 1 into lambda is meter. So from this one you can get ms minus 1. This is what we have put here. And science is not about studying normally, but you have to study very carefully. The next question, type 4. A transverse wave move with 200 ms minus 1 speed and frequency 40 Hertz frequency. Find the wavelength. Another question, what you have to do, you just, what is given? V is given. V is 200 ms minus 1 and frequency is given. Frequency is 40 Hertz, and what is asked? Wavelength. Again V and given. So what is, which equation can be used? V is equal F lambda, and lambda is asked, that is wavelength. So lambda is equal V over F, and V is 200, that is ms minus 1. If you like you can put, and frequency is 40 Hertz, and if you like you can put, no problem. If you don't put, no problem. So 200 over 40, the answer is, if you cut, you can cut this one, 20 over 4, 5. And see this one, this Hertz unit is, you can put this one, what? Second minus 1. So you can cut this second minus 1 and second minus 1. And the final answer would be in what unit? 5 meter. So this equation is very easy, but you have to consider these units. That's very important. Let's look the type 5 question. A wave travels with 100 ms minus 1, which means 100 ms minus 1, V is given, and its wavelength is lambda is given. This is very important, which is given in centimeters. So it is given in a 50 centimeter. So you have to change into this what? Meter. and that is 0.5 meter. So it has been asked wave period, not the simple question. You have to, if you see earlier question, they have been asked V is equal F lambda, then very easy. But here if you use this V equal F lambda, and question is asked wave period, but in this equation V is given okay, lambda is given okay, but the question is asked wave period, but in this equation F is there. So you have to think for instead of F, what can be used. So that's what you have to know in this question. V is equal, instead of F we can use 1 over T, we already done that, and into lambda. So you can easily know this one, V is equal lambda over, lambda means wavelength, time T. So now you can find this lambda using this equation. Let's do. V is equal lambda over T, the wave period asked. So T can go this side and V go down. So T is equal lambda over V. Lambda in which unit? If you put 50 centimeter, totally wrong. So you have to put 0.5 meter and 100 ms minus 1. And if you cut this meter, then 5 over 1000, which means 0.0005 second minus 1, which means what? Sorry, second minus 1, then you can put this one as what? Second. So 0.005 second wave period. Type 6, I think this is a final question. A wave is given here. This wave, see this one, this is a point, and this is a point, and this is one wave, and this is another wave, 2 wave, and this is 3 waves. The length is given here. See this length is given from this crushed and this crushed, and this is quarter, another half, 3/4, another quarter, 1 wave, and here another quarter and half, another quarter. So how many waves here? This length wave, this is not wavelength, as I said earlier. This is not in a consecutive point. If it is given like this one, this point and this point, that is wavelength. This is not wavelength, this is a simple length. The question is asked, 650 Hertz waves is given above. Find the wavelength. You don't need to put this one. By observing this wave, you can easily find this answer. How many wave here? This is 1 wave, 1, another wave, 2 wave, another wave. What? How many waves? 3 waves here. So 3 waves means there should be a what? 3 wave what? Length, which means 3 lambda. 3 lambda is equal how much? This gap 150 centimeter. So question is asked what? Wave length, and lambda is equal 150 over 350. It is given in a centimeter. If you put this faster like meter, then that's wrong. 50 centimeter, which means 0.5 meter. And second question, find the velocity. Very easy question. F is given, lambda has been found. See this one, if you put like centimeter, total question wrong. Then if you put V is equal F lambda, F is 650 and this is 0.5. If you put 0.5, you will suffer to multiply that. The very easy method, you put half. If you put this 50 centimeter, then the question answer will be wrong. So 650 over 2. Then what is the answer? 3, 2, 5. The question is asked what velocity or speed ms minus 1. So in this lesson we studied about what is mechanical waves and their physical properties and types of questions, and we'll meet next lesson. And these guys, News Plus boys, are doing a very nice job to build our education in our community. Good luck everyone. Have a nice day.
சம்மாந்துறையில் பிரிண்டிங் துறையின் முன்னோடி பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங். வாடிக்கையாளர் மனம் கவர் விதவிதமான திருமண அழைப்பிதழ்கள்,
பேனர், ஆன்பில்ஸ், ரப்பர் ஸ்டாம்ப்ஸ், கிராஃபிக் டிசைனிங் அண்ட் பிரிண்டிங், மக் பிரிண்டிங், டிஜிட்டல் பிரிண்டிங் என அனைத்து விதமான பிரிண்டிங் தேவைகளுக்கும்
பிரிண்ட் ஹவுஸ் அட்வர்டைசிங். அல்மார்ஜான் தேசிய பாடசாலை முன்பாக, அம்பாறை வீதி, சம்மாந்துறை.
தொடர்புகளுக்கு 0772 635922. உரிமையாளர் AMM ஆஷிக். சுதேசி உற்பத்திகளின் அதிகாரமளிக்கப்பட்ட பிராந்திய முகவர் நிறுவனம் அச்சீவர். உரிமையாளர் RM ரைஹான். இர்ஷாத் காதர் நற்பணி மன்றம், சம்மாந்துறை. மொஃபோ நென்சலர் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் காலேஜ், மொஃபோ ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் கிளப், 2015 O-Level Batch Foundation, சம்மாந்துறை. ஃபியூச்சர், சம்மாந்துறை. ரிலையன்ஸ் பிரிண்டிங் அண்ட் அட்வர்டைசிங், ருசான் ஸ்டுடியோ, சம்மாந்துறை.